White men like Trump need to be banished.
Good evening, America. Drew Hernandez here. I'm pretty sure you are trying to wrap your mind around what you just heard with that opening clip. I know when I first saw it, I was pretty shocked as to how, just right out the gate, I don't understand how it's okay for black people to be racist beyond belief, and even some Hispanic people. I'm Hispanic myself, and I denounce racist Hispanic people. I denounce racist black people, like freaking Diddy. But what I don't understand is here in 2020, cultural Marxism has gotten so bad that black people get a pass for being while being extremely racist. I'm going to show you guys some more clips. Diddy is a self-proclaimed black nationalist. Like literally the definition of racism, everything he says. We're going to get into that, but I want to thank you guys for joining me in the Lives Matter official podcast. My name is Drew Hernandez, your obnoxious host, your bold host, whatever you want to call me. Here's my son, Baby Yoda, the child. He is here. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I want to welcome you if you're coming in through Twitter, through Instagram, wherever you are, wherever you find yourself coming in through on the internet, welcome. And also make sure, guys, we do super chats at the end of every single show. So if you want to interact with me and have a conversation virtually like that, you guys can leave a super chat. All of the super chats, if you want to leave it now, leave it in the middle of the show as I go on and talk about different topics, which I will tonight. Going to be railing on Diddy. Going to be exposing what's going on with Ice Cube. And we're going to be talking about how 50 Cent just came out of the woodwork and took one look at Biden's tax plan and said, vote Trump. Literally, that's how it went down in his head, at least on Twitter. But if you guys would like to leave a super chat now in the middle of the show, at the end of the show, thank you. All those proceeds go directly to me. I do this full time, my reporting. And also the traditional links, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all that cool stuff. Patreon is all in the description below. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all of your support and your prayers. And make sure to smash the like button, completely destroy the like button. Let's let YouTube know that you not only like this video, but you like me. And if you don't like me, you can like this video for the sake of Baby Yoda because he's cute and he just he'll be really let down and sad if you don't like this video. So, yeah, I let him know. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So let's get into this. First of all, I want to talk about 50 Cent. Okay. And if you haven't heard about this by now, and it's no surprise to me because a lot of huge majority of all Americans, minorities, but there are a lot of multimillionaire Black Americans that don't live in poverty, that aren't middle class, that are extremely wealthy. And I've always wondered, like, what do they really think? Like, I've always wondered, what does 50 Cent think? I've always wondered this. What does 50 Cent think about someone like Bernie Sanders that wants to just tax the brains out of the wealthy, right? I've always wondered, like, what does 50 Cent think about Joe Biden's extreme tax plan? Because 50 Cent is in New York, and I think the tax rate would be about 62% for anyone making over 400 grand a year. You know, you take a look at that and you're like, what? That is a tremendous a lot of money for someone. I mean, like, just think about this. You know, let me get into this. I have a thought, and I want to get into the thought, not the kind of thought that you're thinking of. I'm married, okay? Like a thought in my mind. But let me hold on real quick. Let me get this up. I want to show you. I want to show you what's happening to 50 Cent. Like, it's unbelievable. But let's get it up. Let's get it up. So here's 50's Twitter. Now, I've always been a fan of 50 Cent. Like, I grew up listening to 50, G-Unit, even when they split, when Game joined and it became G-U-Not, and they had a whole freaking... It was like East Coast, West Coast all over again. I grew up loving 50 Cent. Part of the reason because he's like an independent, you know, underdog that came from the ghetto and became a multimillionaire. It's the American dream. 50 Cent is the epitome of a minority, a Black man achieving the American dream. So is Diddy. I'm going to get to that too. But this is what 50 Cent tweeted the other day, and it went extremely viral. I'm pretty sure you've seen this by now. But this is what 50 said, and he said, "What the F? Vote for Trump. I'm out." with the running emoji with the smoke. That's not fart. That's like running extremely fast and dust following you. F New York. F the New York Knicks. Never win anyway, meaning he's down to leave New York. He doesn't care. I don't care. Trump doesn't like Black people. 62%. That's the tax rate that Joe Biden is going to tax this man making over 400 grand a year. Are you out your effing mind? With the smoke coming out of the nostrils emoji. And he took a screenshot. He was watching the news, dude. He's watching the news and he takes a screenshot of this, or a picture. And it's tops tax rates by state under Biden by tax plan. California, 62.6%. New Jersey, 60%. New York State, 58%. New York City, 62%. And for context sake, I'm assuming that this had to do with the wealth tax. Anyone making over $400,000 a year, I'm assuming, because 50 Cent is not going to care about anything. I mean, even regardless, if this is aimed at the wealthy or even the middle class, like we're screwed. But this is what Democrats do. They raise taxes, especially on the wealthy, but they raise taxes on everyone. 50 Cent took one look at this and endorsed Trump immediately. He literally says, "Vote for Trump." There's the endorsement right there for people saying he didn't endorse Trump. No. Vote for Trump. It's like literally an endorsement from the multimillionaire Brooklyn native 50 Cent himself. I love 50, man. I love Ice Cube, and I even love what Diddy has done in the culture. I mean, I have to be honest. Their music has changed a lot of people's lives. But 50 Cent is being honest with himself. Now, what I wanted to show you guys is, let me make one point first. I'm gonna make one point first. Let's get back to the main cam real quick. I want to make one point first. Is notice how America reacts this way. I'm gonna show you guys some Twitter reactions to 50 Cent, but just think about this for 1 second. The Democrat Party, you know, these people claim to be wanting to get behind, you know, people like Ice Cube that, want to close the wealth gap between Black America and all other people in America. You have Democrats, you have socialists like Bernie Sanders, like AOC, Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. You have all these social justice warriors that say Black people are so poor. Black people are so down in the dirt. Black people don't have any wealth. Black people cannot succeed. Black people can't this, they can't that, right? But you have a black man here that is a multi-millionaire that is going to be taxed, like being punished, right? Because the Democrats view taxes as like a punishment on the wealthy. It's time they pay their fair share, blah, 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 rah, 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 right? It's that, but it's like you guys want black people to succeed, but if they do succeed and become multimillionaires, you're going to tax them out of their minds as an act of punishment because they got too rich. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel for black people actually, because the Democrat Party like screws you no matter which way you go. They tell you that you're nothing. They want to keep you on welfare. So you keep voting for them every freaking election cycle and the midterms and the presidential elections and the whole 9 yards. They keep you there. So traditionally speaking, black people and higher majorities keep voting Democrat because they've been lied to that you guys need to be on welfare. You cannot succeed on your own. Because America is against you. So we're the party that will keep cutting your welfare checks because you just can't cut it. You can't make it to survive. And this is why I feel for the black community, because even if a black person does break out of the matrix, becomes a super millionaire, multi-millionaire like 50 Cent, here comes Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders saying, we're going to give you a tax rate of up to 62%. Rape your wealth as an act of punishment because you are too rich. Like, are black millionaires going to end up being exempt, like tax exempt from stuff like this? Is it going to get to that point where even black people that are extremely wealthy and successful in America are still going to be given passes even at this kind of point? This is why a lot of black people are becoming conservatives, because we don't like big government. We think that taxation is theft. Jesus said to, pay to Caesar, which is due to Caesar, you know what I mean? But give to God, which is to God. If the state is imposing taxes, they have to at least be some kind of reasonable, tax. But the kind of taxes that the left and the Democrat always slap on society are these ridiculous, unreasonable taxes that end up going into some secret bank account somewhere that nobody knows about. Why do I say that? Because these people want to tax the crap out of Americans, and they say it's to fix our roads, right? They say it's to fix, community projects, and it's supposed to, fund our nation. And our nation doesn't look any better. If you take a look at Los Angeles, where is all that money going? You take a look at New York. New York is disgusting now. Where is all of these taxes going? Into the pockets of these crooked mayors, into the pockets of these crooked city council women and men, into the pockets of creepy old Joe Biden and his disgusting, crazy son, Hunter. This is what these people do. Where does this money go? If these taxes are genuinely going to build up our communities, then why are our communities in heavy blue states literally starting to look like third world countries? What am I saying? What I'm saying is, like, I feel you if you're black in America, because the Democrat Party just doesn't let you win no matter which way you go. Like conservatives are at least like, hey, like, this is America. You could win independently. We don't like big government. We think taxation is theft. The more money in your pocket, the better. You can be an entrepreneur. You can live the American dream. You can be independent. A capitalist business owner, which 50 Cent is the epitome of. So is Diddy, so is Ice Cube. But even if you get to a level where you're a multimillionaire, they are going to tax the crap out of you as an act of punishment. And this is why 50 Cent took one look at this and said, what the F? Vote for Trump. I'm out. My goodness. But let's get this back up. Let's get the Twitter page back up. I want to show you guys some reactions. Now, this is a very successful black man in the United States of America that has built an absolute multi-million-dollar empire with what he's accomplished in his life. Like, literally, 50 Cent is literally the definition of coming out of absolute poverty. Almost being killed, shot 9 times before he got his big first break record deal with Interscope Records. Became a multi-millionaire overnight, right? He's the epitome of the American dream. But just because he comes out and he starts to side with Donald Trump, which is someone who wants to give more black Americans this American dream, this is how, and I have to assume, leftists react. Let's take a look at some Twitter reactions. This guy says, 50 Cent can go F himself for choosing his personal wealth over the health of the nation. Here's another one down here. This one's pretty interesting. What is this? Here it is. Right here. Very disappointing. I'm a teacher and would pay half of my small salary in taxes to ensure Biden is elected and is helping all Americans. Oh, stop with your virtue signaling. The level of greed of some multimillionaires is stunning. Oh, right. So this woman is willing to pay half of her tiny little salary to ensure that a politician that has been in office for 47 plus years and hasn't helped Black America one bit is elected? What is wrong with you? And by the way, Joe Biden is one of the most wealthy politicians, multimillionaire in the world. And this is what they do. You're worth more than that, whoever this is, Daniel Harris. Why would you pay half of your small little paycheck to ensure that a man who has had 47 years to change Black America and make it better for them has done nothing? How can you say that you're willing to pay half of your small salary to ensure Biden is elected when Biden is the same person that tells black people in America that if you can't choose between me or Donald Trump, then you ain't black? This is how warped Americans' minds have become. Are you serious? This is unbelievable. But this is the reaction. Here's another comment towards 50 Cent. What? I might have to pay my fair share of taxes, so I'd better vote for the guy who cozies up to white supremacists. Here's another one. From this is a checker right here, whoever this is. 50 is just a bankrupted little B voting for another bankrupted little B. Here's another one. You used to be cool, I think. This is unbelievable. People just because you don't want to pay taxes, that's remarkably selfish. Just like you don't. Come on, bro. It's ridiculous. Like some of these comments, like I guess what I'm trying to say, let's get back to the front cam, is the way that people react to Black Americans that are successful and that are literally the epitome of the American dream. Like that's what the left wants is successful Black women and Black men, right? If Black Lives Matter is listening to me right now, don't you want wealthy, educated, very, very established Black men and Black women, right? Why? So that generations of Black families can have generational wealth that continues so that Black Americans aren't in poverty anymore. I don't think anything I just said is worthy to get me kicked off of YouTube, right? I want that. For all Americans, not just Black Americans, all Americans. What am I saying? So you have a Black American here that is at the forefront of that, the epitome of that broke out of poverty, that broke out of gang life, that broke out of having to live a life of crime, success. But just because he disagrees with the Democrats and he supports Trump, because the policies that Trump has is what gives 50 Cent the opportunity to become a capitalist, successful businessman, multimillionaire in the United States of America. But just because he sides with Trump now, 50 Cent is now unworthy. His credibility is gone, and he is not to be listened to. People are starting to rail on him in the comments. I showed you guys. They're calling him all kinds of vulgar things, a little b, this and that, poor, bankrupt. And it's like they don't want success. They don't want it. They don't want black people to be successful without them. Democrats don't want black people to be successful without their help. Period. And that's what's sad. That's abusive. That's like an abusive ex-boyfriend, right? Like when you're talking to a girl that's being physically or verbally abused, that's in a very toxic, abusive relationship. Always telling her, you can't this because you're this. You can't that. No one's going to ever want to be with you because you're ugly, because you're fat. Hey, this is what Democrats tell black people. You're underprivileged. America hates you. You can't get ahead. You got to stay on welfare. You will never get out of here and away from my help. I'm the only one, like an abusive ex-boyfriend. I'm the only one that'll take care of you. No one's ever going to love you. You're just fat and you're ugly. You're never going to get ahead. You're never going to be independent. And you're never going to find anyone better than me. That's how Democrats talk and view the black community and the Hispanic community, all minorities. This is how they peddle to them. And it's not until that person wakes up and realizes that this individual is not helping me. This individual is keeping me literally suppressed and oppressed. They're telling me I can't succeed when I can break out of this and succeed. And it's not until you identify that and you say, forget you, I'm going to be independent and I'm going to go literally take on the world, take advantage of this capitalist society, build an empire for not only myself, but my family, for generational wealth, so that all of other Americans, whether black, white, brown, Asian, doesn't matter, can see my example that they can do it too. That's advice and hope. That's better than just telling someone you're a person of color and America hates you and you're never going to make it. And so you just need to stay on welfare. You need our government assistance because you can't make it on your own. Can you make it on your own? Of course. How do I know that? Look at 50 Cent. Look at these minorities that have enough generational wealth for hundreds of years. And now even with the advent of social media, it's even easier. You know how many young black SoundCloud rappers that are making millions of dollars right now? And Hispanics on Spotify, on YouTube, on the streaming services. Kids are like 16 years old becoming multimillionaires overnight because a song goes viral. And you see this all the time. Go follow TMZ. Go follow DJ Academics. Go follow these pages. All you see all day long are little kids, little black American kids, multi-millionaires, driving Ferraris, hundreds of thousands of dollars of jewelry hanging around their necks, thousands of dollars of tattoos, pictures of them flexing in their mansions. And you're going to sit here and tell me that black Americans are suppressed and don't have any opportunities? Look at the NBA. Look at the NFL. I just don't. Obviously, racism exists. Obviously, there are racists in all walks of life that want to keep people of color down. But it's just not the way that they make it to be right now. There are more black multimillionaires in the United States right now in any point, not only in American history, but in human history. Fact. And I'm going to rail on that in a second as well, but I'm going to play you guys a video real quick. Let's move on to Ice Cube. Okay. I'm going to play you guys a clip. Let's see, maybe we can watch it together. I'm going to play you guys this clip of Ice Cube. Now, Ice Cube is another case of a very successful black American that wants to work to make black America better wants to close the wealth gap. I'll explain this right now. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of what's going on with Ice Cube, but since we're hanging out, you guys are going to hear what I think about it. So let me get this up real quick. Ice Cube.
I'm not playing no more of these games, these political games. We're not part of a team.
Rapper Ice Cube speaking out during an interview on CNN, reacting to harsh criticism about his decision to work with President Trump. The backlash starting when Trump advisor Katrina Pearson posted a tweet expressing her appreciation for Ice Cube's willingness to help the administration develop what is being called the Platinum Plan for black communities. Critics questioning the rap star's motives, noting that in 2018 he released a track with lyrics calling for the arrest of Donald Trump. Ice Cube says he is not endorsing Trump and is open to working with Joe Biden's campaign.
Both campaigns contacted me. Both campaigns wanted to talk to me about the contract with Black America. One campaign said, we love what you have, but let's really dig into it after the election. And one campaign said, we love what you have. Do you mind talking to us about it? And that's what I did. Alrighty.
So I wanted you guys to hear from himself, because Ice Cube was extremely frustrated because this is the most highly politicized time right now, especially a month out, days out before the election, right? We're what, maybe like 2 weeks out? Close. We're close, right? Obviously, people are going to want to use someone like Ice Cube to sway black votes. It's just going to happen. Republicans, Democrats are going to do the same exact thing. But what happened here is Ice Cube wanted to clear the record. All Ice Cube wanted to do, and you heard what he did. Ice Cube was contacted by both campaigns, by the Biden campaign and the Trump campaign. He took his plan. He has his own specific plan to both campaigns that basically want to make Black America better. There are some nuances. That his whole plan is extensive. There's some things in it that I don't agree with. But the main point that I do agree with, that Ice Cube has been really emphasizing on, is creating some kind of generational wealth and capital for Black Americans, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? He wants to close that wage. He wants to close the wealth gap between Black Americans that are in poverty. He's specifically targeted. That's why I appreciate what Ice Cube is doing, because he's honest about the Black Americans. He's focused on the Black Americans, about those who are in poverty and need help. That's who he's focused on. He wants to make life great for them. He wants to bring wealth to them. And so does Donald Trump, right? This is what Ice Cube wants to do. Obviously, there's some nuances with police reform and stuff that he wants to do. But he took his plan to both campaigns because both campaigns contacted him. The Biden campaign told him, let's hold off before we work with you until after the election. Okay? The Trump campaign could have said the same thing. But because Donald Trump has already had a track record of the past 4 years of making America great again economically for Black America, which is absolutely a fact, the unemployment rate was its lowest all time for Black Americans. That's huge. That's amazing. That's great. Why can't we celebrate that? Why? Because it was Donald Trump's administration that got that done. Oh, but people say, oh, it was because of Barack Obama's policies that he inherited. Oh, really? Because Barack Obama was saying that Donald Trump didn't have the abilities to bring certain kind of jobs back in America. And look what he did. So which is it? So, I mean, if it is attributed to Obama, it can't be, because even Obama denied that those kind of jobs could come back, which included Black Americans. What am I saying? What I'm saying is I think it's interesting that the left loses its mind when a successful Black American, the moment that this was tweeted, the left lost its mind. Even Black Americans, leftists, could not believe that Ice Cube was even willing to work with the Trump campaign to make Black America great economically, to even meet at the table, to even have a conversation with Donald Trump. And Ice Cube's reasoning is, listen, this is what he says. Whoever's in power, I want to meet at their table and I want to negotiate of how to make black people's lives better. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with, like, listen, even if Donald Trump, why can't Ice Cube, I'm going to go on to why I think this is crazy. But even if, okay, hypothetically, even if Donald Trump was this racist, Nazi, white supremacist that hates black people and wants black people to just stay in poverty and never succeed, right? Why can't Ice Cube even get any kind of credit for even having the balls to show up to that man's table and negotiate on behalf of black America to make things better for them? Like, why can't black people on the left even if Trump was racist, why can't they even, because this is their point of view, that Ice Cube is working with a white supremacist. Why can't they even view it like damn, like Cube's been crazy, but he's crazy enough to even go to the table for us and face a white supremacist and a Nazi? You guys see what I'm saying? Like, why can't they even see that? No, they can't. They can't give any credit because Ice Cube at the end of the day is doing what? He's wanting to go to the table. This is what he says. I don't support Republicans. I don't support Democrats. I go to the man in power and the administration in power because that's who I need to talk to make life better for black America. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It should be a nonpartisan issue. It shouldn't be a partisan issue when it comes to black America. Police brutality, racism, any of these things. Why? It should not be a partisan issue. It should be none. What do I mean? What I mean is Ice Cube understands that things have become so polarized that he can't even go up to bat for black America because black America isn't mature enough to understand that these issues should not be partisan issues. So if he does go up, I think now he's realizing I can't even go up to bat for black America because if I do, even with Donald Trump to try and make things really good for black Americans, I'm going to get canceled just because it's Trump. People are so immature that they can't even see the greatness in someone like Ice Cube going up to bat, using his platform, using his wealth, using his voice, using all the power that he has to go up to bat and have a conversation with the powers that be, regardless of who it is, left or right, to make black America great. Economically, socially, on all levels. Why? Because it's Trump. It's very sad. It's very sad. It's very sad. And this is another thing that I point to, that the left and Democrats have isolated and caged the minds of black people to think and believe that the only ones that can help them are Democrats and people like Joe Biden. Yet Joe Biden's the same person that tells black people that they are not black people if they can't choose between him or Trump. Dude, come on, wake up. Think. They are the ones that are intellectually enslaving you. They don't want you to leave that mindset, that this tribalized mindset that black people and Hispanic people, all people, white people, all people have fallen for, that Democrats are the only ones that can protect minorities. Republicans cannot. Even though the Republican Party was the one at the forefront of abolishing slavery, which is a historical fact, Democrats are the ones that wanted to continue and keep slavery as the law of the land. That's a fact. Democrats were opposed to all legislation during the civil rights movement. That's a fact. And here we are in 2020. These same Democrats are virtue signaling. They've just cloaked their racism in a different way that seems to be acceptable through Marxism and social justice. You're a victim. You cannot succeed. You need to be on welfare. You're underprivileged, so you need us to give you government assistance. You need us. to make America the place you want it to be. No, why don't you make it? That's independence. That's why don't you make America? Why don't you become successful? It's interesting. Do these social justice warriors still want equality when they hit the lottery like 50 Cent has because of his hard work and dedication? When you become a multimillionaire and you build an empire off of blood, sweat, and tears and hard work, and you're successful and you have multi-generational wealth, are you still going to be an advocate for financial and economic equality at that point? Are you going to distribute all of your hard-earned money? I would love to see a socialist that does that. You know who doesn't do that? Bernie Sanders. Multi-millionaire socialist. I don't see him distributing his wealth to the needy. Do you? I don't see Bernie Sanders cutting checks to black people or minorities in poverty. Do you? Oh, but he's a socialist. Preaches equality for all, right? Financial, economic, equal opportunity. I don't see Joe Biden doing that. Why? Because these people don't care. All they want is a vote. That's all they want. That's all they want. And Ice Cube gets canceled. Let me set this up real quick. I wanted to show you guys some reactions on Ice Cube as well. I'm going to show you guys his Twitter, if we can put this up. I'm going to show you guys his Twitter. Cube took to Twitter, and he tweeted this, and I thought this was interesting, and I wanted to talk about it with you guys. He put facts. I put out the CWBA. That's his plan, right? To make things better for black Americans. That's his plan. Both parties contacted me. Dems said we'll address the CWBA after the election. The Trump campaign made some adjustments to their plan after talking to us about the CWA. So Trump has the Platinum Plan that's focused on making America great for black Americans, economically, socially, on all levels. So according to Ice Cube, after he had a conversation with the Trump campaign, they considered some of what was in his plan and kind of made some reformations to their Platinum Plan. That's huge. That's at least something. Like, why is that not enough? But look at the response. Look at the response that he gets. Like, what's not clicking for you? He's been in office. This is someone on Twitter talking to Ice Cube. Like, what's not clicking for you? He's been in office 3.5 years. He ain't did ish yet. You think because he wrote some ish down on a piece of paper that he's actually going to do it because he told you he was? Some adjustments. See, and this is where black America, this is where I get so frustrated with minorities. What you just said is something that politicians do not do. She says, you think because he wrote something down on a piece of paper that he's actually... It's called policy. That is real policy that Democrats do not do. They shy away from stuff. They talk about it. They'll toss up ideas on the Hill, Congress, Senate. They'll toss up ideas. They'll say they'll do this, they'll do that, we'll do this, we'll do that. But Donald Trump is literally willing to put pen to paper policy for the sake of success for black Americans. And black America, it's like they don't want it because they've been so lied to. They've been so lied to that Donald Trump is this horrible person that when he does do things policy driven for black America, they don't want it nor accept it because they've been engineered. They've been programmed to believe that only the Democrats care about black people, which is a lie. Let's look at a couple more reactions. Here it is, literally out in the open. Always was a fan until now. Hashtag cancel Ice Cube. Wow. The election is in 2 weeks. So why did you decide to come out with this mess? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Here's another one right here. Trump energized Here it is right here. Trump energized ruthless white supremacy groups on a national stage. Donald Trump, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. I'm not going to go over this again. I'm just exhausted having to explain what was going on in that situation. He refuses to say BLM and incites chants, send them back, about people of color. In Trump's eyes, people of color are undesirable. Enough said. Oh, is that true? Can I let's get the front camera here. I'm done with this. Is that true? This person says to Ice Cube that Donald Trump sees people of color as undesirable? Are you serious? Let me give you my own personal testimony. Okay, in 2019, I was personally invited by the Trump campaign by Donald J. Trump and Melania Trump, the President of the United States of America and the First Lady. I, a Hispanic person, according to this person that Donald Trump sees people of color as undesirable, Donald Trump invited this brown kid to the White House and hundreds of other brown people, Hispanic people. You know what it was for? What it was for? It was for Hispanic Heritage Month. What kind of white supremacist that sees people of color as undesirable invites hundreds of brown people, Latinos, to his house to honor them for a whole month that's dedicated to them? Let me give you another one, okay? I've been on personal phone calls with Donald J. Trump himself, with hundreds, thousands of other Hispanics on the same phone call. I have been on phone calls with Donald Trump, and I quote, Donald Trump has said things like this to Hispanics, and you tell me what kind of Nazi, what kind of white supremacist would say something like this. Donald Trump, I've heard this man say things like this to Hispanics and Mexican, Venezuelan, people of color. Donald Trump told all of this on a Hispanic phone call, right? This is what he said, and I quote, he said, Hispanic people have always had great genetics. They've always been hardworking people. They have great bloodlines. They're hardworking, they're dedicated, and they never give up, end quote. That's Donald J. Trump told that to thousands of Hispanics and Latinos, brown people, including myself. You mean to tell me, do you understand? At the forefront of Nazism and their white supremacy was what? Genetics. Everything was about genetics, skin color, pure blood Aryan bloodlines. The Caucasian bloodline being intact. This is what Adolf Hitler believed. So you mean to tell me that Donald Trump is a white supremacist and a Nazi, and he tells Mexicans and he tells Hispanics and Latinos that they have great genes, genetics? They have great bloodlines because they're hard workers and they never give up? What kind of white supremacist and Nazi says that? I'm just saying, man, these are literally and this is when that time I was invited to the White House, I've met Donald Trump face to face. Shook my hand. He told me he liked my hair. I have it on camera. It was on PBS NewsHour on live TV. What kind of white supremacist does that? It's just like, the argument I'm making is I read comments like that, people railing on Ice Cube saying Donald Trump sees people of color as undesirable. And like, I'm sitting here like, I've met the guy. Like, I've had literally like personal like interactions with Donald Trump. None of them were racist. He's either the worst racist of all time or he's just not racist. Like, I don't know what else to tell you guys. All I know, and I want to make this point about Ice Cube, I never thought in my lifetime, especially for those of you that may be older than me, that grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, that watched Ice Cube rise to superstardom through NWA, right? Ice Cube is one of the most anti-establishment, anti-police, pop culture, not only music industry figures, movie figures, Hollywood figures. Ice Cube is the epitome of anti-establishment anything. Whenever you go to a Black Lives Matter rally or you go to an Antifa riot, what are you hearing? What are you hearing constantly? I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to one, but I've been to many covering them. All I ever hear is F the Police by NWA. All I hear is Ice Cube's voice echoing at Black Lives Matter riots or Antifa riots. All I hear. All I hear. I never thought in a million years that I would see someone like Ice Cube, of all people, being canceled in America. Like, this is how bad things have gotten, dude. This is how bad. This is how poor. Check. All right, can you guys hear me? Sorry about that. I don't know what OBS is doing, but let me restart. I want to address Ice Cube. And the point I want to make with Ice Cube is, like, Ice Cube is one of the most influential figures of our generation. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you grew up in the 80s, you grew up in the 90s. But Ice Cube was at the forefront with NWA. NWA! At the forefront of anti-police brutality, at the forefront of the anti-establishment, anti-political anything in the late 80s and the 90s. And Ice Cube is like the epitome of anti-establishment in Hollywood, in the music industry, in the movie industry, at the forefront. And I never would have thought in a million years that someone like Ice Cube, Ice freaking Cube, that was targeted by the FBI in the 80s and the 90s because of their free speech, because they were talking about F the police and all of their violent rhetoric that was against police. They had concerts shut down. Concerts. Their concerts were shut down. And I think conservatives today would be like, hey, what about free speech? It's because it was against police brutality, against police. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, I think it is absolutely insane that someone like Ice Cube, that is a pioneer of being anti-establishment, radical, is being canceled in 2020. I thought I would never see something. I thought I would never see something like this. But this is how bad things have gotten. When you go to a Black Lives Matter rally, right? When you go to a Black Lives Matter rally or a riot, or you go to an Antifa riot, what do you hear all night long? What do you hear all night long? If you've ever been to one of these things, you know exactly what I'm about to say. All you hear is F the police from NWA, and all you hear is Ice Cube's voice all night long. He is a generational icon for the left right now. His song is like the theme song for Black Lives Matter. And he is now getting canceled. He is now getting canceled. This is how bad things have gotten in America. This is how saturated, how poisoned, and how stained and infiltrated America has become in society, in politics, in culture, with cultural Marxism. to where now people like Ice Cube, if they make the wrong move, Ice Cube, they're canceled. I never would have thought that I would literally see the day where Ice Cube would be canceled. I cannot wrap my mind around it. But let's continue. I'm gonna play you guys a video. Thank you guys for letting us know about the audio. Sorry about that. I don't know. Sometimes OBS is weird. We're gonna upgrade some of our studio software very soon. But if that ever happens, guys, make sure to just let me know. I'll work on it. We'll fix it like we did tonight, and we'll move forward. Thank you, guys. So let's continue. Now, Diddy is literally a self-proclaimed black nationalist. Now, if this isn't racist, I don't know what is. It trips me out that black Americans get away with racism. Like, just because you're fighting against racism doesn't mean you get a pass to be racist. Let's take a look at this real quick.
A couple of months I told everybody, hold their vote hostage. A lot of things have gone on since then. None of us expected. I think this president has done a great job of rattling America. When you move in fear, you don't have any leverage. Mm-hmm. The way I felt before is the way I still feel. Things have got too serious of a point. Seeing what's going on, white men like Trump need to be banished. We're not standing by no more getting killed. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war.
Okay.
It's time for us to have our own black political party, unapologetically. Because right now, if you look at the debates, we're not even a part of the conversation.
Not at all.
We're not a part of the conversation. We don't have any political power. We don't have any political leverage. I'm going to fund the revolution. I'm a black nationalist. I'm unapologetically black. I have to take care of the tribe first. I cannot sit here and watch. This is my blood family. How you think I'm gonna be? I can't worry about nothing else. I love everybody. But right now, I gotta make moves and I gotta use my power for the advancement of black people because we last. You know what I'm saying? Like when they ask the question, is there systemic racism? And nobody answers the question. I'm like, yo, no, hold on. This systemic racism, they trying to keep their foot on the neck. Up to my level,
1 billion.
Up to Jay-Z's level, up to LeBron's level. It's an illusion of inclusion by just a couple of us. So I could sit back here in the crib, but I'm not with that. I'm from that same block.
Now, here's all right, we're good on audio. Here, like, okay, you just heard from a man, okay, that is the epitome of the American dream. All three of these guys, 50 Cent, Ice Cube, and Diddy, are the epitome of the American dream being achieved by a black American that came from nowhere. All three of these guys, okay? Now, what I want to, like I said earlier, I am ready to rail on Diddy. I have so much to say about this, so here we go. The first thing that he talks about and he says is that white men like Trump need to be banished. Can you imagine for 2 seconds if this was flipped and Trump came out and said, black men like yada, 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 you need to be banished? That would be just headline news, the most racist thing that we've ever heard in decades coming from a president or from anybody. But Diddy gets to jump up on there and say that white men like Trump need to be banished. What the hell does that mean? It's interesting because his rhetoric is pretty violent. And he starts to go on to say we are on the verge of a race war, which I believe we are, not because of conservatives or because of Trump, but because the left has peddled this narrative and brought us to this point. Diddy is a useful idiot. He actually believes these lies, that Trump is a white supremacist, that Trump is a Nazi and wants to kill black people. He actually believes this. Yet this is the same guy that has countless photos on the internet that he's taken with Trump over the years. You mean to tell me, I guarantee you, Diddy's from New York, I guarantee you that Diddy looked up to Trump as a model for the American dream of wealth growing up. I guarantee you. He'll never say it, but I guarantee you he did. Especially rising from the ashes out of New York. I guarantee you. But why does Diddy get a pass saying that white people need to be banished, and then goes on to say we're on the verge of a race war and we're ready to not get killed anymore? He's basically saying we are ready to go to war. We are ready to fight. But Diddy gets a pass because he's black. You know this to be true. Why isn't Diddy censored? Because Twitter, and I'm not calling for the censorship, he has free speech. But what I want to say is, why is it that big tech, why is it that YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, they always say, we can't let people say things that put people in different, minority groups or sexual orientation groups or gender. We can't let people say certain things because that might put them at risk in the real world. They could get killed. They could get hurt. Oh, but here's Diddy that comes out and says that white men like Trump need to be banished, and we're about to have a race war, and we're done being killed, and basically saying we're ready to go to war. Why is he allowed to say that? Because you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is even black people that want nothing to do with this crap are going to get sucked into something like that. Even white people and Hispanic people that are not racist and want nothing to do with this are going to get sucked into a race war. That's where that rhetoric goes. Diddy is a racist. Why does Diddy get to come out just because he's black? I'm brown, YouTube. I'm Hispanic, so if you want to trash me, go for it. But what I'm saying is Diddy is black. He's a person of color, and he gets a pass for being racist. He literally says on record, I am a black nationalist. What has the left been literally asking Trump over and over and over and over and over and over and over again for the past 4 years, and accusing him and asking him of being a white nationalist, a white supremacist? It's all the same thing. But just because Diddy is black, he gets to jump up with Charlemagne the God on YouTube. It's right there. That clip came from YouTube on Revolt TV, and say that I'm a black nationalist. What if Donald J. Trump Jr. jumped up on the same interview with Charlemagne the God, rolls through in the Breakfast Club and says, you know what, I'm a white nationalist, and I need to take care of my people. I love all people, but I need to take care of my people because we're last right now. Dude, OMG. That would be the tactical nuke of Call of Duty, of racism dropped from the left in the United States of America. I'm speaking metaphorically, okay, YouTube? You know this. If Donald J. Trump Jr. were to roll through and say something like that, but just used the word white, it's racist. And I would agree. There's the definition of racism is viewing a certain race or ethnicity as a superior race over another. This is why people there are real racists. There are white supremacists. There are white nationalists. There are black nationalists, freaking obviously. There are brown supremacists. There are brown there are people that are seriously racist. And I really, according to, dude, this is coming out of his own damn mouth. Diddy is a black nationalist. He's racist. That's not equality. That's putting black people over Mexican, Hispanic. That's putting black people over white people. That's racism. Now, I understand his thinking. He wants to reach out to the underprivileged black community, similar to Ice Cube is doing. But he's doing it in a way that is extremely racist. I think there are a lot of black people in the United States of America that are racist as hell because they bought the lie from the left that there are crazy-ass white supremacists coming from the MAGA movement, from Donald Trump, and they're coming to kill black people, and they hate like peddled these lies that have caused a lot of people of color to actually be racist towards white people. Even white people that have nothing to do with any of this. Nothing. It's not okay to be racist just because, just because you're black doesn't give you a pass to be racist. Just because you're brown, even me, doesn't give me a pass to be racist. If you are a racist and you are white, screw you. If you are racist and you are black, screw you. If you are racist and you are brown, screw you. And if you are racist and you are green, my son, screw you too. What am I saying? What I'm saying is racism sucks wherever it's coming from. I hate it. I denounce it. I want nothing to do with it. It doesn't belong in this country. Everyone has freedom of speech. I'm not going to take that away from Diddy. But my view with freedom of speech is I don't want to censor someone that I don't like what they're saying. My view of freedom of speech is let me enter the conversation so I could make you look like an idiot with what I have to say. And let the audience decide for themselves who sounds better. That's how I view things. But that's just me. But I want to continue with this point and just end right here. Not going to end the podcast. We're going to go into super chats, but I want to end on this point is you do not get a pass to be racist. Diddy is literally, Diddy has a net worth of like $800 million, close to $1 billion, and is going to sit there and act like there's no success in America. He's such a hypocrite. You can even see it in his eyes. Oh, there's systemic racism at the lower levels, even up to my level. It's like he admits that he's on this superior level than other black people and white people. But I'm not a part of that. I got to do my business. I'm still part of the hood. Oh, really? Okay, Diddy. You claim you're putting money to your new Black Nationalist movement, literally starting the first starting a black political party. To me, it's racist as hell. I mean, if that was a white thing, oh my God, dude, you know that. If there was the white political party, some dude on here, dude, you know, I'm not going to go on that point again. What I'm trying to say is, listen how Diddy is so deceived. He's been lied to. It's like, bro, you are the epitome of the American dream on steroids. And he's saying, oh, we're marginalized. We're just a little bit of the whole picture just to get people to think that Black America is successful. Like, we're only successful. I'm only close to being a multi-billionaire because white people want you to think that black people are successful. So they only let a few of us in. And he mentions himself, Jay-Z and LeBron James. You really believe that? I don't deny that systemic racism exists. But I don't also deny the reality that there are thousands of black people in America that make way more money than me. There are thousands of black people in America that make way more money than some white people in this world as well, to put it at that, in those terms. Poverty exists everywhere. But Diddy is deceived. He's lying to himself because this guy has a net worth close to $1 billion and is going to sit here and lecture us about systemic racism and underprivileged black Americans in America while he sits in his multi-million-dollar possibly house that's looking over the ocean with Charlemagne the God. Okay, Diddy. Whatever you say, bro. I'm sorry. I can't rock with that. All right, guys, we're going to get into some super chats. If you guys would like to leave a super chat right now, this is the part of the show that I love the most because I get to interact with you guys, get to answer some of your personal questions. If you guys want to ask me something theologically, politically, something that has to do with journalism, anything, whatever you guys want to talk about, drop it in the comment section in a super chat. below. And I truly thank you guys, man, because when I decided to go full time and this became a career for me, it's very scary going into something like that. And, especially when, God is on your side and you're very thankful for people that support you. I don't take it for granted. I take it extremely serious. I think you can really trust someone that's a conservative to really deal with money a lot better than someone that's economically liberal that just blows money on anything and everything. That's not how I roll. I like to see finances as tools. So that's what I do. So I just want to say thank you guys for your support. If there are any super chats, you guys can leave one below and we'll get to some questions tonight. I'll give you guys a couple seconds as I pull this up real quick. Let me check this thing real quick. Let me reload this. Hold on, this thing froze on me. There it is. Okay, the Phoenix 215. How does systemic racism exist if it does? I'm glad you asked this question, and I always have to go to a personal experience for me. I don't know if you guys have ever heard my story, but my family has dealt with racism generationally. I myself, my little sister, and my mom were physically assaulted by a racist white ex-police officer. I grew up in an all-white neighborhood, and people were extremely racist towards us. I don't deny that racism exists. I've dealt with racism even in high school with some teachers. I've dealt with I don't deny that racism exists. I don't deny that racism is in some of our American systems. I deny that America is this systemically racist place as if it was in the time during the civil rights movement. I disagree with that notion because that's the talking point that Black Lives Matter puts out. I will never deny racism exists because I think to do so would be extremely stupid and foolish, especially someone that's dealt with it. My family, growing up Hispanic, has dealt with it. I don't deny that racism exists. I don't deny that there are racist cops, which would be considered systemic in a system. I don't deny that there are racist teachers. I don't deny that there are racist firefighters. I don't deny that there are racist. The list goes on. Okay, educators, and let me tell you this. I guarantee you, like I said in this podcast, I guarantee you there are some racist ass black people that are making, and brown people that are making America systemically racist now. Where a lot of little white kids are going to grow up in a very racist America because they're white. And now black people are going to be like this black supremacist, not all black people, but predominantly the left. This is what Black Lives Matter has done. So my view on systemic racism is actually kind of changing now. I think it's going to be more black people being racist towards white people in systems in America. And you're starting to see that all over. So my view has been kind of like changing as of recent. That's what I say though. And in my own personal opinion is I can't deny that racism exists because I've experienced it. I just deal with it differently. I don't act like a freaking victim. I don't sit here and act like my life is over and I'm going to forever be the victim of that racist ex-white cop that physically assaulted my mom and my little, I refuse to live like that. I will be better than that man will ever be. That's my mentality without being racist. And without being immature and saying all white people are like that and all cops are like that, because they're not. So my view is a little different. I just reject the fact that, I reject the talking point that Black Lives Matter puts out there when they say that, America is literally as racist as it was during the civil rights movement. That's when they say America is systemically racist, that's what they're literally pointing to, that America is like that, where you go into a Denny's and you can't go eat because of the color of your skin. You can't go to the same public school as a white person because of the color of your skin. You can't have the same government systems because of the color of your skin. I reject that. I don't believe that America is systemically racist like that any longer. Because I think if you say something like that, I think that's a total disservice to people like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. Totally. I think they deserve better than that because they did make progress. I just don't think it's that bad. I think we have made tons of progress. I mean, guys like P. Diddy sit there and say that, oh, America's falling behind and we're not winning right now. We're not ahead. We're getting the short end of the stick. I'm like, bro, you just had the first black president of the United States of America for 8 freaking years. What are you talking about? If America was so extremely systemically racist, how the hell did a black man become the president of the United States? That's what I'm saying. This is my view on things. I think America is heading towards more systemic racism. It's going to shift. I think it's going to be tolerable, like guys like Diddy. I think it's going to be tolerable in the next few decades if we don't seriously like expose this and say, hey, this is wrong. I think America will be extremely systemically racist in the next 20, 30, 40 years. Black people acceptably racist towards white people. That's my opinion. I think that's where we're going because guys like Diddy get away with saying I'm a black nationalist. And no one bats an eye. It's literally racist. So my view on systemic racism is actually kind of like changing. I'm like, I think it's actually going to be pretty racist. Like a lot of, leftist Black Lives Matter, black people are going to be super racist systemically towards white people going forward. Imagine in kindergarten, right? K through 12, imagine, different career paths. That's my view right now. So I know that was kind of a bit of a long answer, but we have some more super chats. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you for your questions. Let me jump down here. Let me see right here. Yeah, D's nuts, whatever. Let's just say that. Does YouTube allow you to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop? I've been suspended on Facebook recently for it. Yeah, I did a little bit of it a few days ago. You guys can see the podcast. I think it was Biden Exposed. I did a whole podcast dedicated to Hunter Biden and everything that's come out. I actually really zero end on how the New York Post has been getting censored on Twitter. Sometimes I get lucky, but I think YouTube won't take me off completely. Maybe because I'm Hispanic, I don't know, but they have deboosted the crap out of my channel. I will tell you that. We have close to 50,000 subscribers, and my podcast will get 5,000 views if I am lucky. So pray for your boy. So Michael Garza, thank you for the super chat. Michael Garza, I think we are seeing the living proof of Romans 1:18 through 32. Yes, I totally agree. Theologically speaking, when this is applied to any society, when a society begins to willfully reject who God is, what people don't realize about Romans chapter 1, it's not necessarily about people rejecting God. It's God rejecting those people in return is the problem. Because when you read Romans chapter 1, you see God gave them over to a debased mind. God gave them over. God gave them up. God gave them over. God lets them go into the absolute depravity that they oh so wanted, and they reject him knowingly. And some of the hallmarks that you see in a society when you read the Bible, when this happens to a society, when society willfully rejects God and God begins to reject them and pull back his hand of blessing because they didn't want it, something happens to the society morally. And it's very dangerous. The moral code, morality goes out the window. Depravity is accepted. Lawlessness abounds very violently in the culture. A sexual revolution becomes normalized. And the Bible teaches that an extreme homosexual revolution becomes normalized as well. And lastly, the final indicator that God has removed his hand from a nation, his blessing, is that total confusion, total absolute mindless, a depraved mind is the identifying factor of a society that has not only walked away from God, but that God has let go. He just lets them do whatever they want. And the final product of that is that they lose their minds. They can't discern between good and evil. All moral code is out the window. There's no law and order. There's no morality. They are just, what the Bible says, debased of mind. That means the mind is dead. Morality is dead. Did I just explain America in 2020 to you? Because that's exactly where we are. Sometimes people will ask theological questions, guys, so I will address them. Thank you for the question. Souls of Loax, or Loax. I don't know how to pronounce this, but thank you for the super chat. Hey, bud, treat yourself and your son to a double cheeseburger, large fry, and a slice of hot apple pie. You know what? My son, this kid eats like freaking crazy. I don't know, to this day, right? Nobody knows what Yoda is. I don't even think George Lucas knows what Yoda's species is. He's just Yoda. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if there's things in the comics that you can find to identify what species this guy is. But he's my son, and I love him. And thank you for the super chat, because he's very hungry, and he will sometimes eat my meal. But hey, that's love, right? So thank you for the super chat, guys. I love you. All right, Michael Garza, is there some more theologically focused EPs in the future from you? Yeah, I was a youth pastor for about 6 years. I've been theologically trained. I know how to exegete the Bible. That means teach the Bible in its context, verse by verse, to accurately apply it for what the Bible is saying, not what you want it to say. So it's cute sometimes in the conservative movement. I won't tell people that, and they'll come and try and, lecture me on God and the Bible. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. And it's funny because I don't really tell people that, and they try and lie to me, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not what the Bible says. So try again, buddy. Anyways, I say that because I do plan on doing some stuff in the future. I have plans that go beyond social media, brother. Keep them in prayer, because I do know America is entering into a time where the church has been disarmed. The traditional, 501c3 church, that's comfortable in America, doing a Wednesday service and Sunday service, and just being very, the whole, conventional, contemporary Christian, where you could actually make a worship album and not get killed over it in America. I understand that those times are fading away. And I think pastoring a church in the future is going to be extremely different than what we've seen in America in the past, I would say, 100 years. So I'm preparing for that. And whatever that looks like and whatever that means, whether it's on or off social media, that's where my heart's at, Michael. So please keep that in prayer. That's always been in my heart. All right, Julie B. Excuse me. Sorry, my super chats are running away from me. Julie B. Check out Mr. Obvious's latest video. Voter fraud caught on camera in Germantown, Maryland. Yes. And do you guys remember the last Trump town hall? What was that chick's name? What was her name? The moderator? No, whoever her name was. She was a hack. What did she kept arguing with Trump. She's like, you keep saying voter fraud. You keep saying that there's voter interference. There's no widespread evidence of voter interference. You guys remember? And we've been seeing it weekly. Literally, people throwing boxes of mail-in ballots in the trash, burning them. You think that's not going to have an impact? I don't know. It might. It might. I don't know. I never rule anything out. But yes, voter fraud is extremely real, especially in California, man. I sound like Joe Biden, man. It's kind of cringe, man. I should shut up now, man. Let me continue, man. What was her name? Savannah. Yeah, Savannah. That freaking hack. Yeah. Don't cancel her. Just don't ever bring her back. All right, Peachy, thank you for the super chat and the little emoji. I think I'm going to start memberships on this channel. I think I could have like customized badges and emojis. I just haven't looked into that yet, you guys. So I'm going to get that stuff going for the Real News Gang so I can get more customized. But hey, Peachy, thank you for the $50 super chat. I know I appreciate it. I know my son appreciates it because he really does love to know that you guys support us. Derek G, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it, my brother or sister. I don't know, whoever is using that account. Thank you for the super chat. Timmy Chang. Timmy Chang, racism equals in your head. Action of racism, discrimination is what matters, and that's against the law. Yes. So discriminate, get caught equals jail or sued. Please don't be a useful idiot for the Democrats. Yeah, I am definitely not a useful idiot, my friend. What I'm telling you is that, yes, I have experienced actions of racism, violent ones. Like, my family's been physically assaulted, man, like before the internet was around. What I'm saying to you is that I think systemic racism is actually going to become a thing because Black Lives Matter made it a thing, but it's not going to be white people. It's going to be black people being racist as hell on the left towards white people. So don't call me a useful idiot. Trust me. Furthest thing from it, my friend. And if anyone that's ever watched my show, you know that's not exactly who I am. What I'm saying is that I don't deny racism exists. I don't. I don't think America is as systemically racist as Democrats claim we are, like the civil rights movement. I reject that. Do I reject the existence of racism? No, you got to be an idiot to say something like that. Of course. It'll probably never go away until Jesus comes back, bro. What am I saying? What I'm saying is my views have changed. And if anyone is a useful idiot, it is literally Diddy. That is what a useful idiot looks like. Someone that can't think for themselves and that takes talking points from any political party. A useful idiot can also even be on the right, bro. People that don't think for themselves. People that just take talking points as if they're truth without looking into the information or digging to the root of the issue themselves. You have to be a beacon of truth because you thought for yourself. And that's the example I try to be. Artie, thank you for the super chat, my brother. No, all my opinions come from myself. People don't realize this. I wanted to announce this too. If anyone has any more super chats, you can leave it below. People, on Instagram and on Twitter are like, oh my God, your content is so boring because you haven't been posting, any riot footage or protest footage. For people that have been following me lately, what I want you to understand is that I've been a content creator since the end of 2018. And so Lives Matter started as a man on the street show. So I would do man on the street. I would debate people. I would go to protests when it was kind of safe to go, when they weren't riots yet. And I would debate leftists. You guys can check the channel. I would do all kinds of content like that, posted on Instagram. And I would also do podcast style videos as well, like this. And I would post them on Instagram. This was before my channels blew up and I went on Tucker and everything just exploded. So I understand if you guys don't know that, but I recently added the reporting as of like the beginning of this year, all the real time, first person view reporting that you see on me. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, as Drew Hernandez, content creator, Lives Matter, you get all three. You get the man on the street, you get the podcast style videos on Instagram, on Twitter, and you will also get the real news, real time reporting at riots or protests. You get all three. Okay, it's the best of all three worlds. And the reason why I haven't been reporting lately is because number one, I'm preparing for the election, and number two, I got arrested in Louisville a couple weeks ago. And hey, announcement: all charges were dropped. Okay, my court date was today, and all charges were dropped. So your boy is free and in the clear, right? So good looking on the district attorney and my attorney in Louisville. Thank you guys for taking care of that. But what I'm trying to say is I don't want to get arrested again and thrown in jail. So I've been waiting for my legitimate credentials to come, and they haven't come yet. They come like towards, I think, the end of the week, next week. So the reason why I haven't been reporting is because other journalists are getting arrested right now without credentials. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is Drew Hernandez will give you the best of all three worlds: man on the street, podcast style videos, and I guess me and Elijah call it riot porn, or just protest, coverage, real news coverage. You get the best of all three worlds. So just be patient, okay? I'm not neglecting that part of my content, okay? I'm getting it all built up. I just want you guys to know that, okay? I want you guys to know that. We have a couple more super chats. Let me grab these real quick. Soul of Lokes, it's all good. I always say it like Lay Oaks. Oh, there you go. Lay Oaks. Thank you. And Timmy Chang. Sorry, Drew. Didn't mean useful idiots towards you. It was to those. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No worries, man. Sometimes I read things and I don't mean to put people on blast. You just don't know who's who. So, yeah, guys, don't cancel Timmy Chang. I don't believe in cancel culture at all, but yeah, I mean, even if you disagree with me, that's cool, but just be ready for me to clap back, you know? But Timmy, thank you for clarifying that, guys. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, okay, so thank you, guys. I just wanted to clarify that for you guys tonight. I'm not neglecting the real-time reporting. I'm not neglecting that kind of content. I'm just making sure I'm covering all my bases because you guys get the best of all three worlds with Drew Hernandez. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you guys for kicking it. Thank you for the super chats. Make sure to smash the like button. Please like this video. Let YouTube know that you actually liked me, or you at least liked Baby Yoda. Let them know. Share this video with your family. Get the links out wherever you social media. Follow me everywhere. Instagram, Lives Matter Official. Parler, Lives Matter Official. Twitter, Lives Matter Show. And Facebook, Lives Matter. And until next time, America, stay free.